quite interesting. These are actually from Native America, especially the hook. If you look at that hook, that is a very Native Indian hook.
Polynesia, but are notably absent or extremely rare in West Polynesia. While items such as these distinguish East and West Polynesia, these items are regularly found in the Northern Outliers, thus linking the Northern Outliers to East Polynesia.
Well, that's very easily explained because these over here shows a actual connection to the Native Americans. Why did it disappear somehow in the West Polynesia? I think the reason why it disappeared because the the kingdom, I feel like they were more advanced, and might show you example what I'm talking about. More advanced, like the shipping and everything just got better. The way they fish got better. The tool makings just got better here in West Polynesia for some reason.
There seems to be genetic evidence as well, with one genetic study linking the people of the Leeward Islands in East Polynesia closer to the central northern outliers than to the western Polynesian islands of Tonga and Samoa. Thus, in Wilson's scenario of the settlement pattern of East Polynesia, proto-central northern outlier East Polynesian speakers journeyed from the central northern outliers to the southern Phoenix Islands. It is here that proto-central northern outlier...
You know why this will never make sense? Because go look at the history of those islands. Go look at the history of it. There's no empires within Micronesia, Melanesia. There's no empires. There's only two empires throughout the whole Oceania back in those days. It was the Samoan and the Tongan. That's it. The only way you can explain how the language changed was somehow one empire, whether it's the Samoan or the Tongan, decreased, and then the other empire increased. And it's just like here in New Zealand, right? The Māoris were the first here. They were the more superior race, overcame the Morioris, and they changed everything, the culture and the language. Then what happened? Europeans came in, the more superior race, overcame the Māoris, and now look at me, I'm speaking English, okay? Because it was overtaken by another
East Polynesian developed into Proto-East Polynesian. From the southern Phoenix Islands, Proto-East Polynesian speakers expanded eastward, reaching the Line Islands and the volcanic Marquesas Islands. From these areas, Proto-East Polynesian speakers rapidly
dispersed. Hold on. See how it does not make sense? How it... This way you gotta add what the Polynesians teach. Yeah, and it's good to put the European point of view in it, but when it doesn't make sense, or when it doesn't fit into the narrative, then you gotta reverse and ask yourself the question: this out of TAWAIN theory does not make sense because of what he's talking about the language. The only thing that really makes sense is that for some reason that the Polynesians must have came from somewhere else, not from Asia, but the Americas. What my belief is that they populated first Rapa Nui or Hawaii or Tahiti. This is where the Polynesians came from. Then they populated this island here. They found all these islands over here, Takalau, in Samoa, in Tonga. Then the last island that the Polynesians founded was Fiji. This is where they must have first met black people. This is where the Tongans then reverted back to Tonga in order to make this the home of the Polynesian people and this place. So they had both these islands as the home of Polynesia. They had the royal family, the kings of Tonga, then had a lineage between the three of these islands, and then slowly the royal family populated these countries over here. And as I said before, what happened was the language changed due to Samoa overpowering the royal kings, and then in this era especially, where all the Samoans, controlled, not by one king, but by many different chiefs, that's where the language changed.
Into the rest of East Polynesia. If we accept this settlement scenario that East Polynesia was ultimately settled from the Northern Outliers, then what is the source for the Northern Outlier languages? To Wilson, the source is most likely from the Polynesian outliers in the Southeast Solomons. In conclusion, according to Wilson, the Northern Outliers East Polynesian hypothesis aligns with the recent consensus among archaeologists that East Polynesia was settled quite late in history relative to the settlement of central Western Polynesia.
What did he say? Quite late. No, I don't believe that. Quite late. Did they settle it quite late? No, they did not. They settled it quite early.
Furthermore, it provides a means for the many innovations distinguishing East Polynesian languages from those of Central Western Polynesia to develop before a rapid dispersal of East Polynesian languages not long after initial colonization of East Polynesia. If you liked and enjoyed the video, consider supporting me on Patreon so I can continue to produce more Pacific Studies content. Like this video?
He's very good. I give this 10 out of 10. But, because he's given me a lot of ammo. But here's the problem with his theory, right? If I can go to the map. This is the problem with his theory. About what he's trying to say. Okay. He's saying that somehow that the East Polynesians came all the way in over here, right? And then how is it possible that somehow they went all the way to the Phoenix Island and let's just forget Tuvalu. Let's just forget Takala. You know, this stupid, this mentality. Somehow they must have went, let's just forget Fiji. Let's forget Tonga. Let's just go straight here. Let's just go straight here. Like, that doesn't make sense. And then he hasn't even tried to explain this part right here. Why do they speak a different tongue from the rest of East Polynesia? He never explained that. That's the problem with what he said. He never explained why is it that somehow the language is not the same from here, and there. But I've explained it. I've told you guys exactly in conclusion what happened. And I'll conclude by saying every Polynesian out there who believes that our ancestors came from the Americas, then we populated all the way over here, populated all these islands over here, but guess what happened? Everything changed from over here. That's how the language changed. And this here, that he's circled around here, this is where the language changed. The end.